Deuce and Mo, Deuce and Mo, they tell you what they know.
Do it for Deuce and Mo, Deuce and Mo. Hey, do it for Deuce and Mo. When it comes to the Kings, it's my favorite show. Do it for Deuce and Mo, Deuce and Mo. Hey, do it for Deuce and Mo. When it comes to the Kings, big hopes and dreams as we cover our kings. Never cover the kingdom, but we loving our kings. And we covered your prayers as we doing our thing. Big Deuce with the par, Lil Mo on the screen. Solo or together, still do it for team. Never switch up for $1 or revenue stream. So we always got each other, balance out the beam. Deuce and Mo, and that's the end of the thing. So do it for Deuce and Mo, Deuce and Mo.
Oh.
Hey, do it for Deuce and Mo.
It's okay. Oh, you can do it. Come on.
You know, we may not have a lot more of these left, so I'm going to give it to you.
Thank you.
We are live on a Friday night.
On a Friday, it's Friday night.
Hey, Morgan.
Man.
I'm rooting for y'all.
Let's go, Kings.
Up 4 with a minute to go. And The Rock. Just take care of things. And you get the win. And, you're at 8. Stay in that 7-8 matchup. But no. Late game execution.
Oh, story of the game.
And
Well, story of the end.
story of the year.
Ayo.
Story of the franchise.
Oh, dagger.
This one hurt, man. This one, I mean, it's like we've had so many times we've come on to, and this one hurt. This one hurts because, I mean, you played well tonight. This was a playoff intensity game. I mean, we're seeing multiple players on both teams playing over 40 minutes. We're seeing physicality. We're seeing guys diving on the floor for loose balls. Intensity.
Oh, so nice.
Tough plays, big time shots. But what happens in crunch time? What do?
What?
Do you thrive in the moment or do you shrink a little bit? And tonight, the Sacramento Kings up 4 with the ball with a minute to go. Turn the ball over in the swing play. Sabonis, I don't know what he was thinking. Tries to get it to De'Aaron Fox. Turnover because Bradley Beal's in deny. Knocks the ball away, scores it. It's down to 2, and all of a sudden it's a game. And then
What are you doing? Are you starting the podcast?
I'm just replaying it in my head to talk about this. I am putting the pain out there, and I'm just thinking about this. And I know the story tonight from De'Aaron Fox to Mike Brown. They are furious with the officiating at the end of this game. We could talk all about it. It just hurt tonight. And I'm going to be honest, it's time. I told you guys about a week and a half ago, just embrace the play-in. Forget about the top 6. Some of you hung on to that top 6 open and said, embrace the play-in. Life will be easier. Now I'm going to tell you to embrace something you're not going to like to embrace.
What?
Embrace the fact. The odds are, in my opinion, you're going to be playing a 9-10 matchup, Golden 1 center, Kings Warriors. Embrace it.
Yeah,
the
no,
script
you're
has
right.
been written.
You're right.
Embrace it. Because what you need on Sunday now, you need to beat the Blazers, which you should be able to do.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, duh, you should be able to beat the Blazers. But you need our good friends from New Orleans to win again. They just beat the Kings. They beat the Warriors tonight in San Francisco. They need to beat the Lakers. A Kings win and a Lakers loss. The Kings go to 8th with the most likely thing being going to play the Phoenix Suns on the road. Or the Kings.
It's not the worst thing in the world.
It's not the worst thing, but you want to be in 7-8. But the odds are, embrace it. Embrace that we're going to be at Golden 1 Center next week. Kings Warriors win or go home. And even if you win, you advance to a second play-in game to take on the loser of 7-8 on the road.
Hey. The experience is, it is what it is. Me trying to find things to say. I should just have like a whole bunch of cliche quotes ready for tonight.
Bring it on, guys. Bring it on.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm in a much better place than I was the last 2 podcasts.
Oh, great. After tonight?
I know.
I feel good tonight. Thanks, Morgan. I'm glad you feel great now.
I felt like this wave of a depression. And I remember thinking, like, that's weird. Like, you don't be one of those weird sports people that, like, allow it to dictate your life. And I know we've joked about it before and been like, oh, I'm up and down. But I felt like a real wave of, like, darkness. If anyone's ever felt like
we could tell. The YouTube comments could tell that Morgan was feeling a little blue the last couple of pods.
Dark.
Let me tell you.
And if it was dark blue, okay? Because it was like I couldn't get out of it either. It was scary. And now I'm like to this point after tonight.
I want the Suns again. I want the Suns on the road again, Morgan Reagan. I need, let's just call it our Pellies, our Pelicans to come through. Brandon Ingram coming back Sunday.
I love
Go beat
the
your former
Pelicans.
team.
Yeah.
And the Kings win, you're in 8.
Love them.
And then you have 2 shots to get in as opposed to playing 2 win or go home games.
Dude, I even like this. Mo was emo those games. I even like this matchup against the Suns. I know we'll talk more about it.
I know.
But yeah, feeling super. I know anyone that's feeling emo. I see the Beamless Night song being pushed out there more and more on all of these losses. Thank you for enjoying that song, and I'm sorry that it's our losing anthem that we're hearing far, far too much right now.
Before we get started on the podcast, this is a late one because of stupid 7:30 tip-off. Lame. Chat, how are you feeling tonight?
Great question.
How are you feeling? The biggest thing you can do to help us grow, hit the thumbs up and subscribe. Shout out to Sack Ups. Shout out to Boost. God's love be with you. Piece of grind. What's up, Ryan and Jerry Double J? Adam, we got a Pellies fan in here too. What is up, Snipe? We appreciate everyone hanging out in the chat tonight. Don't get too toxic, but vent away. What's up, Stanley, Cam, Enforcer, Steven, Lil Uzi Bert? What is up, Cast Digital Media, Ben, Clark, my guy, Boost, Oscar, and Kings fan Sneak Hacks is in his building. Shout out to Sebastian, the Spurs fan, asking, Mo, how can I buy your sweater? Go to deuceandmo.com. Appreciate that.
Thanks for the support.
Okay, before we start, Adam says, I just threw up in my mouth. Okay. Geeky Nana says, I'm fine. Okay. Piece of Grind says, can I get a hell yeah?
Yeah.
Give me a hell yeah.
Hey. Couple of these left. You gotta like embrace.
Jordan says, we lost, but I'm here. Okay.
And by the way, whenever I say a couple of these left, we're still obviously doing these after NBA playoff games if the Kings for some reason do not.
Oh, we'll talk about our NBA. Yes, we're going to be doing NBA content all year round.
And that's why whenever I say like the last couple, possibly the last couple of Kings regular season games. So sad.
All right. 4C Bar says, call it a season. Yeah, I'm not ready yet. You know, I mean, why don't we just wait till it's like officially done?
Yeah.
I used to call seasons back in January. And we're talking about Tankathon. So when you're so mathematically alive and you're going to be in a play-in game, we know that. Like, I'm not going to go, we'll call it a season. I mean, you can. You can turn off the games and tap out. You're going to tap out? You're going to tap out now? You made it this far and you go, I tap out. I'm throwing out the towel. No. We are in this. You think Carlin's tapping out? Yeah. This guy got paralyzed on December 18th. This guy goes to rehab twice a week. He may never walk again. You know what he's doing? He's going to rehab because he's a dog. He's going to keep fighting. And guess what? We're going to keep fighting. We've been on this 81-game journey together. I'm not tapping out now. Carlin, are you tapping out? No, he's not tapping out. You don't tap out, 4C Bar.
He's not tapping out. Like, look at this.
Look at that. That's not tapping.
It doesn't work, and he's still happy. So live like Carlin.
Hey, give me a kiss right now. Yeah, see? That's a happy boy.
Happy.
All right. Let's go. Deuce and Mo. Hit the thumbs up for him. Deuce and Mo, we're coming down. 3, 2, 1. Hit my music.
Deuce and Mo. Deuce and Mo. Deuce and Mo. They tell you what they know. Deuce and Mo. Deuce and Mo. Deuce and Mo.
pain, heartbreak. Game 81 for the Sacramento Kings hurt Morgan Reagan. The Kings up 4 with a minute to go. 107-103. What could go wrong? Everything. Turnovers, loose ball fouls. Some poor execution, maybe. The Kings lose in heartbreaking fashion, 108-107 to the Phoenix Suns. And now they're in a very tough spot because the Lakers won in Memphis. The Kings fall to 9th on this night with one game to play, game 82 against the Blazers. The team in 10th, the Golden State Warriors. Meaning, if it was a play-in tomorrow, it would be Kings, Warriors, win or go home at Golden One Center. The Kings still have a chance to get the 8th spot. They've got to win and beat Portland on Sunday and hope the Pelicans beat the Lakers. They go to 8th, which would lead to a matchup in Phoenix with the Suns. And then the winner of that would play whoever's number 2 in the West. The loser would play the winner of 9-10. Let's talk about this game. Kings lose 108-107. This podcast presented by our friends over at Northwest Exteriors. Check out trustnorthwest.com. Man, the Suns-Kings games this year have been crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And the Kings have lost the last 3 games against Phoenix in heartbreaking fashion. One where they were up 22 with 8 to play and Phoenix lost. Lost a really tight one where they didn't execute down the stretch in Phoenix. And then tonight, a game where they did so many good things.
Yep.
But the end result was an L. The Kings are now 45-36. Hi, Mo.
Hi, Deuce Mason.
Kings have lost 5 of 6.
They have lost 5 of 6. It ain't pretty. It can't feel good for team morale. You know what I like? Kings aren't giving up. I liked the way that they played tonight. And let me just point out a few positive because, like I mentioned in our pre-show, I felt really darkened down after the last 2 losses.
Oh, we know.
Okay, you already did that. Tonight's loss, like it stung. It stung. It was one of those where it's like, ouch, okay. Nope, stop pinching. Ouch. That hurt. But I loved how the Kings played throughout. I do not love their late game execution, but I loved when I saw Harrison Barnes diving on the ball, on a loose ball. I loved seeing this team play with so much heart. And the reason why I think I mentioned that, and nobody gives a shit to hear about this, and I really don't care if you care or not, what I have to say right now. But the reason why I do have to say that first, because I think what I was feeling after those last couple of losses with Monk being gone, I was feeling hopeless. Yeah. And tonight, they gave me hope. It wasn't about how the game was going to end, even though it would have really given me hope, but it was how they were going to play was really going to stand out to me. And that's why I think I'm not super down, because I'm already like, it's a playing game and pick your poison. And it just doesn't matter where you're going to land in some ways. I know you can have an easier path.
One poison. Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, and Bradley Beal. Ooh, you want to sip?
Right.
Oh, here's the next one.
Where's
Steph
next?
Curry, the Warriors. You know, Steph who dropped 50 in your house game 7. Oh, you want sip?
You want that one? Another? What's the other one?
LeBron and AD. Ooh, the officials. Ooh, you want to sip? Yeah, I mean.
So that's where I'm at.
This game felt like a playoff game today. I love so much about this. But again, what happens in playoff games? The team who executes late wins the game. It comes down to that late game execution. Yep. And tonight, I heard De'Aaron Fox. We could play some of those comments. I heard Mike Brown. Both of those guys were talking post-game about the officiating. And we could just start with the final play. It's 108-107. The Kings have the ball. 8-ish seconds to go in the game. The Suns have a foul to give. They use it with 8.7. Then the Kings inbound again, right? 8.7, the Kings inbound. They had a foul to give. The clock goes down to 6.3. Kings have the ball again. The Kings inbound to Fox, getting downhill. But, of course, what are the Suns going to do? They're going to pack the point. Mm-hmm. De'Aaron loses control of the ball. From my angle, it looked like maybe it just slipped out of his hands. I wasn't sure. All I know is
the handle.
He had 3 defenders around him. They were not going to let De'Aaron Fox beat them.
Mm-hmm.
After the game, Fox was adamant. I got fouled.
Yes.
I got fouled.
Huh.
There's not like no, maybe I got touched. He's like, my hand got slapped. I got fouled.
What happened on that last play? I was fouled. It was a quick answer. I was fouled. I was fouled. Oh, good.
Yeah, here's what he said post-game.
Through that last play and just what you saw from your perspective.
I got fouled. He wasn't even close to the ball, so.
So he says he got fouled. Mike Brown was beyond furious about it after the game, too. Just trying to figure out what his team can do to get a call. I've acknowledged that.
Yeah.
I've acknowledged that.
Okay.
But I want to talk about the fact that this team can't let the game be in the hands of the officials at the end of the game.
Boom.
And it sucks. And if that 2-minute report comes out and Fox indeed gets slapped, I believe him. I've looked at other angles. I haven't found like a clear, concise angle that shows he got slapped, but Fox is adamant. I'm going to believe the guy. He got fouled. Okay. You're up 107, 103 with the ball in your house with about a minute to go. Sabonis, after multiple misses, you get a second chance opportunity. You get the ball. That's deflating for the Suns. They are on the ropes in this moment. Sabonis has the ball. Fox is nearby with his arm extended, and Bradley Beal in denial. There is zero reason why you have forced that pass when it wasn't there. The play wasn't there. So Sabonis, I don't know what he's thinking in that play. I have zero idea what he's thinking. He decides he's going to try to get to Fox. Beal, who played great in this game, especially in that fourth quarter, knocks the ball away. Fox tried to get it, wasn't able to. Beal takes it to the cup. It's 107-105. Now we got a game again. And if you just take care of it, think about this. Even if you get Fox the ball clean and you miss another shot, maybe you get a rebound. Or maybe they've got to bring the ball up court. You're putting pressure. They get a miss. Instead, you pretty much wrapped up the ball, put a bow on it, and handed it to Bradley Beal.
Yeah.
That's the swing play. So you're down 108, 107 eventually. Yeah. And I get you get fouled, but that's the play I'm thinking about tonight.
Oh.
That's the play that's haunting me tonight.
Oh.
I'm not being haunted by a missed call. I'm being haunted by the fact it's 107, 103. Yeah. You've got the lead, you've got the ball, and
it's a quick score. It's a quick score. Not only is it deflating because it's like, whether you believe in momentum or not, they're gaining it in that moment. But then on top of that, it's a quick score. Quick possession for the Suns to get 2 more on the board, and you're putting yourself in a really difficult situation when you have to look at Beal, KD, and Book on the other side of things that are going to get another offensive possession. And that is exactly what happened.
So after that, Fox misses a layup. Sabonis ends up fouling Durant. Durant goes to the free throw line, knocks down 2. We're tied at 107. Fox takes a contested mid-range shot over Grayson Allen. It was a tough look. He can make tough shots. He missed it. Next, the Suns get the rebound. Nurkic gets the board. Grayson Allen for 3. Misses it, but we got a whistle. Loose ball foul on Sabonis. Nurkic headed to the free throw line to shoot 2. Watching the replay, and Mike Brown, I think, disagreed with this call. I thought Sabonis clearly fouled Nurkic.
Clearly.
He was like,
wrap.
It
was a wrap. No. He seriously, Mike Brown didn't think that was a foul. It was clearly.
He didn't like the call because that ended up being free throws, which put the Suns up 108, 107.
I understand not enjoying that situation, but your big Domas Sabonis did not try to hide the fact that he was wrapping Nurkic.
He was hoping to get away with it.
Exactly. Yeah. And it was too clear as day that he was wrapping Nurkic. And something that I was trying to point out post-game was just, why would Sabonis in that moment not trust his teammates enough and feel like that he had to do something extra on Nurkic to make sure they were going to get that rebound? Because what it led to was free throws instead.
Nurkic misses the first one, makes the second. It's 108-107. That gets us back to 8.7 seconds to go. The Suns have a foul to give. They use it, so there's 6.3 left. Now let's get to that Fox play again. So Fox gets the ball, and I like it because it gets him going downhill. Beal comes over late. Grayson Allen leaves Keon Ellis, leaves him, okay? Because he's like, I'm not letting De'Aaron Fox beat. There's 3 guys on Fox. My perspective of this, and I'm, De'Aaron may disagree with it, but just from what I saw in this replay, I think De'Aaron went into one mode. I'm going here. You have to make the right play. Keon Ellis was open. Keon Ellis, when you have to be able to read the situation, I felt like he went into tunnel vision mode, and yeah, sure. Even if you want to say he got fouled, fine. But before that, once Allen comes over to commit, Allen's going to leave Keon Ellis. Give it to Keon Ellis. One, he could have an open look for 3. Keon also kind of cut a little bit toward the basket. Keon would have had a floater. Keon Ellis made big shots in this play. You have to trust your teammates in late game situations. I'm big on that. To me, I've always said this in the league, it doesn't always have to be the guy taking the shot.
No.
Fox has made big buckets many times in his NBA career, and I trust the ball in his hands. He can still be a part of the game-winning bucket. I thought he had an opportunity to get that to Keon Ellis.
There were so many times throughout LeBron James' career where people would just complain, you got to be taking that last shot. And I love is that his breakdown would be after, why would I take that last shot when I could get a better shot off for the entire team? It's, again, trusting, Ray Allen or trusting whoever the hell else is you are surrounded with. And I think sometimes people are so focused in shouldn't it just be the guy no matter what? And it's like, no, it's basketball. You can incorporate other people, even if you want it to be De'Aaron Fox taking that shot. And you're exactly right. Keon Ellis could have been that option. I don't think it was De'Aaron Fox not trusting. I think it's what you said, the tunnel vision. And I love that mentality for him. I love that he's like, I effing got this. But at the same time, he's got to find times where he does have to adjust that mentality, and he has to be more of a playmaker in that situation. And maybe, Deuce, maybe those 3 arms, if he had tried to make a play to the open man, it was going to get deflected or knocked anyway, because it was already too late, so he could have also been trying to make the right play and just elevating over people and trying to get a midi off.
Here's a full clip from De'Aaron Fox after the game talking about the officiating.
De'Aaron, can you walk us through that last play and just what you saw from your perspective?
I got fouled. He wasn't even close to the ball, so.
De'Aaron, can you kind of walk us through the play design there at the end, and was it Brad that you felt like got you, and where?
I didn't feel like anything. You can go watch it. He very clearly got me, but when it's me, they always say I didn't see it or whatever, or marginal contact, so. It doesn't matter what the play was. If I got fouled, I got fouled. I'm trying to pick up the ball, hits my whole arm, they get the steal.
So that ended up being the game right there. So I still haven't seen a conclusive replay, but I believe that De'Aaron Fox got fouled.
Yeah.
And the officials missed it. And we'll see what the NBA last 2-minute report, and it's a shame because that would have put De'Aaron Fox at the free throw line with a chance to get the lead back. And it sucks. And this time of year, when things are so fragile, that stings. And I think tonight, the Kings, if you're a Kings player, you're a Kings fan, of course you're sick because your team lost, and you've got the doomers in the chat feeling a certain way because they're going to thrive on situations like this for sure. We could all feel bad tonight. It's losing like this sucks, but I think it feels even worse where you play a game where for most of the night, I felt like the Kings played the right way, man. I felt like I noticed them from the beginning tonight. Where the last night against New Orleans, they played so soft in the beginning of the game. You've got Mike Brown after the game talking about the lack of physicality, Keegan. I'm like, what are we saying? This should not be a topic this time of year in a big game. And tonight, they came out engaged. I mean, they forced 5-6 turnovers in the first quarter alone because of their active defense, because they were scrambling, because they were playing physical. I loved how they approached the game on a second night of a back-to-back.
Agreed.
They played with pace. Even when they missed shots, they kept going. It's a shame that it had to end where you make some mistakes late, and then you have what you believe is a missed call.
And maybe that's why I feel the way that I do feel, which is just like, get your head up. You got one more. And plus you got playing, because you're exactly right. I said this tonight, even on postgame, I said, if they play this same way on Sunday, they're winning that game. It's against Portland. And not to downplay an NBA team that it could play desperate and want to disrupt and screw with the Kings. Like, why not? Some guys going out there with a big opportunity, show off in the last NBA game of the season. But that's why the Kings have to have the same mentality that they had tonight coming in against Book, KD, and Beal. And I thought at times too, especially in that first half, the way that they, if you want to call it slowing down Booker, and then Booker started to get his in that third quarter, the adjustments that I wanted to see made even in that third quarter, I felt like they were doing a better job of remaining physical going into the fourth.
They definitely did. Sorry, I hit a button here and it fired something and it cut you off and it scared me. I did it jumps. Did you notice that? I jumped. I didn't know what it was.
I knew
playing.
exactly what it was.
Oh
I
my
saw
God,
you.
It
I
scared
saw
me
you
so
hit it.
much. Yeah.
But guess what? I play on.
I appreciate you playing
you.
on in that
Thank you.
situation. We appreciate everyone hanging out with us too in the chat. I'm seeing some people say, "Yeah, no excuses. You got to win that game, dude." We've acknowledged that. You know, that's what I led with.
You can
you know,
say it
you're
over and
up,
over again.
You're up 4 with a minute to go on the ball. You got to win that game. You can't make mistakes. Mistakes were made, but it doesn't change the fact that, like, if you're fouled, you want that whistle.
Yep.
You want that whistle. If they're going to call fouls on the other end, you want to contact. If you got hit across the arm and there's a foul should have been called. You should have been hitting free throws. So you could acknowledge the mistakes and still be upset that you didn't have that opportunity.
And to me, this game, like, we have not once not said this.
Yeah.
The Kings lost that game. The refs did not completely screw that game for the Kings. The Kings lost that game, and I go back to exactly that same play that you brought up in the beginning of this podcast when Domas tried passing that ball to De'Aaron, and it got deflected, knocked off. Beal, easy too. And right there, they were just down 2. So you're like, wait, how did that lose the game? It was such a momentum shift. It was, with a minute left in the game, such a quick score for them to have that extra possession in that time. Late game execution is why the Kings lost.
Yeah, I completely agree. And so that's where it is now, you know, and we've seen a lot of these tough losses this year. And so I always have a tough time with these podcasts because, you know, the thing that sits with me most is what happened, the turnover, some of the missed shots late, you know, the missed opportunities, the fouls, you know, the loose ball foul that led to Nurkic taking the free throws, and then the end of the game. You know, it's like I just they are not, especially with how the Kings are constructed right now, without Malik, without Herter. Teams, and I talked to an assistant coach today from an opposing team. They're like, oh, you get load the paint against the Kings right now because we're not going to let anyone else beat us. It's Fox and Sabonis. Those are the guys that we have to neutralize. And if the other guys beat us, okay, but we have to focus on them. If we can make their lives hard, if we can force them not only to not score, but not be able to create for others, we're going to win more times than not. And in this situation, late game, like Fox, and this is when you have to be aware of this, he's going to see 3, and he saw 3. And that's what the unfortunate thing is, you got to make the right play. And I think the right play was to dish it to Keon Ellis. That's how I looked at it when I watched him multiple times after the game. I thought you had Keon Ellis.
Easier said than done. And I say that too also from someone who has become a better playmaker, but still ultimately is not thinking that way late in a game.
Yeah.
He's going to be the clutch player that he has been before, and he didn't get that moment. He also doesn't just claim, he is adamant that he was fouled on that play, getting the ball knocked out, you know, whatever it is. And it would have been 2 free throws, but whatever to that. But I guess the other point I was going to make, because talking about packing the paint and what I thought the Kings were actually executing throughout the game while they weren't executing late in game, was how they were putting Domas in that pick and roll. And a lot of times we only saw that working with Malik Monk, and then you get that pocket pass and it felt like things were moving. That's why the offense was better. And we keep talking about how much we miss Malik Monk and Kevin Huerter and the way that it spread out the floor on the offensive end. But Domas in the pick and roll and not just feeding him in the post allowed a lot more movement within the offense.
Wow.
And I felt like that was something that was positive within why this game was going in the right direction at first.
And bringing that up too, I mean, in the fourth quarter, he had a play, and this is where I know a lot of people get frustrated with him. Okay, Sabonis had a hell of a game. I liked how aggressive he came out. He launched a couple of threes tonight. Love seeing that.
Yeah.
Knocked down a couple, missed a big one late. That was like a late shot clock. I don't love that one. He missed it, but he was shooting it. He took a mid-range shot. But late game, they're playing off of him. He had a free throw line jumper. He could have taken it. You got to take it. Instead, he thought about, looked around, wasn't there, decides he's going to go try to play bully ball on Nurk.
Yep.
The thing about Nurkic, for as slow and how like he struggles defensively, the way he struggles defensively is in open space. And that's why the Kings had some success tonight with pick and rolls with Sabonis, because he was coming out and Sabonis getting downhill on him. He can get by Nurk. Nurk doesn't have the conditioning.
He creates this angle where he gets that one extra step, where on other big guys, you see it before where it's like, no, they got him all, they got his number all the way down to the hoop, where yes, I love the way that he was getting downhill on him.
But the thing that Sabonis did not have success with tonight was trying to play bully ball with Nurkic, because for as slow as he can be at times, the guy is stronger than shit. And shit could be strong sometimes. Like a really strong shit. My point is, I just realized strong as shit. What does that even mean?
I always say strong as shit.
I know, but what's that really mean? Is shit that strong?
It could smell strong.
Good point.
Thank you.
He can absorb contact. He could take body blows.
Yeah.
Boom, boom. And it's hard to move the guy. And Sabonis was trying to be aggressive, but I'm like, you please don't do that. Like, that's not the guy you want to do that with. And he did not have success doing that. The success came when he was getting downhill, when he's in that pick and roll situation. I thought Fox did a much better job finding him in pick and roll situations. That's not something that's been a good strength with those two all the time throughout their 2.5 years together. They even had Harrison Barnes do it a few times, and I thought that was good. That gave them a different look, so that was a huge positive. But he can pass up the mid-range shot, and it's like, okay, I like that you shoot it in the first half. Yeah. Are you gonna shoot it late in the fourth quarter when they give it to you? Are you that confident? He's still not confident with it, and that's gonna hold him back from going to the next level as a player. That makes you from being like an all-star, good player, to you could be great if you were. Imagine if he took the mid-range like Valanciunas does.
Oh, dude, I was even thinking about this one shot that he was practicing a lot in the beginning of the year, and I saw him practicing a lot at the end of a practice with Doug Christie, and it's the shot where you drive in, you back him up, okay, you don't have it, you got nowhere to go, boom, turn around, fade away off one leg, but you are close enough in the paint where it's not a faraway shot. All you're doing with your fadeaway is creating space from you and the other big instead of trying to play bully ball with them every time. And lately what it feels like, the angle that Domas is going at, it's not a good angle, and he's coming under too strong, or he's too far underneath the hoop, or wherever it is that he wants to be. And
it's crowded down there for him.
And
it's so crowded
more
because
crowded than shit.
You are playing off all these guys. I know we talked about this last night on the podcast, but for those who missed it, when Huerter and Monk are out there, those guys are being guarded. Even if you're like, oh, but Kevin Huerter wasn't shooting the ball well this year. Yeah, he was inconsistent. Teams are still guarding to guard him. Yeah. They're not going to let him get open looks from three. Keon Ellis is getting open looks right now. Teams aren't respecting Keon Ellis. They look at Keon Ellis as a young guy that hasn't proven anything. They're going to go ahead and we'll see if this guy can beat us. And guess what? Keon Ellis made some big plays tonight. So that may not last forever. Davion Mitchell, they go track record. He's not going to make it. He could shoot threes. They don't really worry about contesting these guys' shots. They are packing the paint. I went back and watched some OKC today against the Kings. There's like 4 guys in the paint when Fox and Sabonis are around. It's insane right now for the Kings. So Sabonis is not getting those same looks, When Monk's running that pick and roll, they're staying attached to him because he could dunk on your head, he could lob it up, he could find the pocket pass. Some of these other guards can't do that in the Kings.
My realization a couple games ago was, like I said, when I saw that this is the roster that you have for the rest of this season, even if you do end up making the playoffs, it's not that I'm not confident in it because I don't believe in some of these individuals. I think there are some very solid mentalities and players on this squad. But together as a basketball team in the NBA, it's just not going to be good enough. And it's not going to be a big enough threat at times. I mean, whether it comes to size, whether it comes to being an offensive force, whether it comes to experience as well. And that, to me, when I feel and think about all of that, it gives me that hopeless feeling. But that's why I do love that this team's like, we're not going down like that though. We're gonna fight like we have Malik Monk out here, like we have Kevin Huerter out here, even though the style is completely different. We're all gonna make sure that we contribute to try and still be that same team.
It's going to be tough without Monk. We knew it was going to be tough without Monk. But, yeah, Sabonis has to take the mid-range. I'll say Sabonis has taken more mid-range shots this year than he did last year. But it's just not consistent enough. He thinks about it. He does. He doesn't think about it as much in the first half. He thought about it tonight in the second half. And he can't hesitate with this stuff.
Yeah.
There was still plenty of good tonight. I just want to shout out the Suns for a second, too. I thought Beal, I was like, where is this guy in the first half? I'm like, what? They need him.
Hi, Deuce.
And he showed up. He was a big-time performer. He finished with 20 points, 18 in the second half, but I thought his rebounding was big. He had some tough finishes.
He looked big out there for some reason. Like he played big.
It felt like all their guys, that trio, took turns tonight. KD had his run where he couldn't miss, getting to all of his spots, kind of picking his spot. He had 28. It's like, this guy is just ridiculous. 35 years old and can still get buckets on anybody.
I forget that he's 35.
Then Booker had that run in the third quarter where you're like, God, now he's hot. Are you kidding me? And,
like so smooth.
And that was a tough matchup where, there was a sequence where Davion's out there defending him. It's like, Davion can't guard Booker because Booker's too big. He's just going to shoot over him. He got going and
then
made some shots.
They made Keegan, try and do his thing as well. And it was like, even when Keegan was on him, as soon as he had even the smallest amount of space, he was like, yep.
So Booker had some big moments. He had 21 points, 7 to 12 shooting. But Beal, I thought, what a game changer. I mean, he made a couple of the biggest plays of this game, too. I haven't thought there was a play in the fourth quarter I noted. I might just need to go back on the play-by-play. He blocked blocked a key. Was it Keegan Murray he blocked on a 3-point shot? Man, I forget.
Yeah.
But that was earlier. But he had a different play where I thought he got back on defense and made something happen. That was in the fourth quarter during that run.
He was everywhere.
Yeah. I was really impressed because I think he's been pretty disappointing this year for them. There have been too many times you don't notice him. This is what I noticed. Okay, it was 103-99. Beal had an and one. It's a big sequence there. The Kings were up in this game. It was 103-96 after Keegan Murray. This was probably my favorite play of the game. If the Kings won, we'd be talking about this play. 5 minutes to go in this game, 100-96 after Barnes goes 2 for 2 at the free throw line. Fox just rips it away from Grayson Allen.
Oh, yes.
Pushes the ball. Then drives to the basket. He's like underneath the basket, does a wraparound pass around the defender on the money dime to Keegan, who buries the three, making it 103-96 with 4:50 to play.
6 assists tonight for De'Aaron, by the way.
Boom. Timeout on the floor. It's like, okay, they're staggered a little bit. Beal out of the timeout, scores it. Then, this was an and one. That's right. And then Beal attacked. It was this great attack, got an and one. So it goes from 103-96 to 103-99 after the made free throw. Then De'Aaron Fox goes up to take a jumper. He blocks the shot. So that sequence was it. He brought force, had the and one out of that timeout, blocked De'Aaron's midi. It was just a big play, and you felt like kind of the energy shift. They were just hanging around at that point. And I thought they made life difficult on the Kings. I thought their defense stepped up. I thought the Kings got slower with their offense down the stretch, where I thought they were pretty consistent pushing the pace and playing even in their early offense at a good rate. As this game went on, it just felt like it slowed. And I don't know, was that like tired legs on the second half of back-to-back where 4 of your 5 starters play over 40 minutes? I don't know, but it just felt like they slowed down, and the Suns, they smelled the blood. They thought they had a chance.
And again, this is a team that not only has the experience to do this, has the experience doing this against the Sacramento Kings this season multiple times, it feels like, right? And what they're able to accomplish late in a game is pretty dominant, but at the same time, I thought the Kings were showing that they belonged in those moments until they started showing that they didn't in some of their screw-up moments. I know.
There's just so many of these games this year where you're just like, how did you lose this one?
Yeah. This and you know, you mentioned one of the good plays down the stretch. There's so many things I was excited to go. I was like excited about Harrison Barnes' play tonight and like why he deserved 41 minutes. I was excited about Keon Ellis and guys going under screens and him just knocking down a three.
Being
like,
a pest offensively, shooting. Keon Ellis taking it like to the basket a couple of times.
Yep.
I'm like, that's the type of aggressiveness I need to see. He had an and one floater. That was great.
And then even the rotation being an 8-man rotation.
Dude, this was a playoff game.
I
this
know.
Was like, in terms of, and like, look,
I know.
the Kings are playing for something. The Suns are playing for something. The Suns are trying to get into the top 6. They don't want to be in a play-in either. And they came and they didn't give up. They didn't just fold. And they have folded recently. They've been so up and down, just as inconsistent as the Kings. This team is right around where the Kings are, right? With all that talent, at least the top-heavy talent of KD, Beal, and Booker. It felt like a big game tonight.
Yeah.
You felt it. You saw it, like you said, in the rotation. Barnes plays 41. Keegan plays just under 43 minutes. Sabonis plays 42 and a half minutes. Keon Ellis plays 32 minutes. And De'Aaron Fox, 41 minutes.
That's why no matter what happens for a postseason or maybe not a postseason for the Kings this season, it's just, reality. The experience of even games like this for some of these guys that are getting opportunity is big for if the Kings do go in a direction where they do want to continue to develop some of these guys that they do have on this roster. Now, I know we look at this roster and you think, okay, and these are things we're going to talk about in the offseason, like what needs to change, what needs to improve, because it's just a fact now. Things do need to improve and change, but I also think it's important that you do learn and grow. And I think now what everyone got to see from year 1 to year 2, that it will be time to learn and grow. In progress, success, not always linear.
I think 2 of the most exciting things about tonight is seeing 2 young guys, Keon Ellis and Keegan Murray. They play really well. Keegan tonight, 23 points. He had 7 rebounds, 9 of 19 shooting, 5 of 12 from downtown in this game. He had 3 steals as well. He's battling his ass off. He had some nice plays at the basket.
Yeah.
A nice give and go. Sabonis found him on that cut. That was beautiful. He had some nice dunks tonight.
Someone that we were talking about
aggressive.
looking soft the other night.
Last night.
Oh, yeah, God, that was only last night, 24 hours ago. And so it was nice to see him look aggressive, look confident in himself. Like, not, I'm going to be passive. Like, no, this is your, like, talk about experience development and where you need to grow. Like, I'm not just talking about guys like Keon. Oh, good opportunity. It's like, no, even for Keegan to be like, I have to step up in this playoff-like atmosphere for my team, and I have to be there for them because De'Aaron and Sabonis can't do it all their own.
And with Keon, I think the biggest takeaway is, like, you got a player. This guy is playing a meaningful game tonight, and he didn't shrink from the moment.
Yep.
I was excited about the fact that he scored in the paint, 4 of 4 in the paint tonight. He had 8 points in the paint. He knocked down some threes, some big ones. Like, the guy did a lot out there tonight. And then what he does defensively, his activity is just phenomenal. Deflections. I can't wait to see the final numbers. It's a shame the Kings lost this game because if they had won like they should have won tonight, we'd be talking about, man, did they come out physical, playing defense. They had 12 steals in this game. You had 4 from De'Aaron Fox, 2 from Ellis, 2 from Sabonis, 3 from Keegan, 1 from Barnes. You had... That's the total for 12. Yeah, I was going to keep going, but that was it. I thought they brought it, and that's what's a shame. It's like this was on a second night of a back-to-back in a big game for both teams, and, dude, they were throwing body blows back and forth. I loved a lot about this game except the result.
You know, some of these moments where there were the turnovers and the late-game execution that we were talking about, I remember even Trey Lyles, like, he had a turnover that – he had like a lane to the basket, and then he just turns it over last minute, goes out of bounds. And I remember turning to Chelsea Gray and just being like, yo, is that like not focusing on the basketball? Like, what is that? And, you know, she's a hooper, and she's just like kind of like, calm down, Morgan. Sometimes that just happens, right? Like, absolutely it does. But I was like, but it just seems like so simple. Like, there was just something simple he could have done. And she's like, you know, fatigue could even play a part into where they are mentally at times with some of those moments. Domas passing it trying to pass it into De'Aaron and it going to Bradley Beal. You know, him just fatigue, not thinking about his arm wrapping around Nurkic at the end and trusting that Keon Ellis is going to be there if he just boxes out the right way. Like, some of these moments aren't just like, hey, I'm just going to foul somebody or I'm just going to pass this ball like shit. Like, no, sometimes it's about how do you find that toughness when you are even mentally fatigued on the second night of a back-to-back?
You got to find it.
And that's it. How do you take that leap too?
I was just talking about the steals from tonight.
Yeah.
I just looked at the deflection numbers according to NBA.com, and it made me sick. Because this just shows you how the Kings brought it tonight. The Kings had 24 deflections tonight. Harrison Barnes had 3. Keegan had 3. Sabonis had 2. Keon Ellis had 6 deflections. For perspective, the leader in the NBA, I believe, is De'Aaron Fox.
Okay.
I'll double check that.
Okay.
But that's right around 3 per game.
Yeah.
Keon Ellis had 6 tonight.
Yeah.
De'Aaron Fox had 5. Davion had 2. Trey Lyles had 3.
Activity, baby. God. Yeah. That's why when all of this was going on, I wasn't thrilled to just be like, oh, it's a win. It was what led to the win. And then what led to the loss was even more heartbreaking.
So right now, the leader in deflections per game is now Alex Caruso at 3.7. Fox is second in the league at 3.6. SGA right behind him at 3.4. So,
okay.
I mean, obviously, if you're getting that type of number, I mean, that's ridiculous. The Kings as a team had 24 deflections tonight. It's I get this because I'm the same way. You know, we get so focused on they lost the game tonight. It sucks. I can't believe this. They choked. They did this. I'm like, dude, you can acknowledge that, and it just makes it hurt more because they did so many things right tonight, and that's how fragile this shit is, dude. Mm-hmm. And this is what whatever you want to call it, late game. Meaningful games late in the year, playoff games, play-in games. This is what it's going to be like. It's going to take this level of intensity, but it can't be for 46 minutes and 30 seconds. It can't be for 47 minutes.
True.
Right? It has to be 48. It has to be fighting through the fatigue.
Even fighting through the fouls. And by the way, to give love to that, I thought even Sabonis did mostly a good part of not complaining, of not allowing it, because we've seen games where it's like an entire game of him taking him out of his game. And he was getting the shit beat out of him down low. And I was just like, play through. And he did. And then there's these other moments where it's like, play through doesn't mean to just like shake it off and not think about it mentally. Play through is also finding a way to get that ball back. Is finding a way to recover after someone fouls the shit out of you, knocks it out of your hand, and then you go, no, screw you, and you like take it back.
Sabonis, 25 points, 12 rebounds, 9 assists. He did on 9 of 18 shooting, 2 of 3 from downtown. De'Aaron Fox, 23 points. He had 6 assists, 5 rebounds, 4 steals, 9 of 23 shooting. Keon Ellis had 17 points on 7 of 11 shooting. Also had a couple steals. Keegan with 23 points, 7 rebounds. Harrison Barnes, 12 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists in the game. Kings didn't use their bench a ton tonight. Davion did play 20 minutes, missed a shot tonight. He's 1 of 7, 0 for 3 from downtown. Trey only played 14 minutes in this game. He was 1 of 2, and then Alex Len was the other guy who played just about 5 minutes, and he had 2 points, 3 assists in that game. That was like one encouraging element, and it was 5 minutes. I'm like, okay, Alex, run some DHO game a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, that was good to see.
Yeah. No, I'm totally with you. Like there's moments out there where he's just shown so much improvement where he's not like a liability when he's out there. And especially we were talking about it last night against the Pelicans. Could the Kings have benefited from putting him in there even with Sabonis and being, if you want to call it irrational or whatever, just like try something new. I trust him enough to try some new things with or to use his size out there. And yeah, short-lived, small amount of minutes.
Yeah. Tough.
I know. It
eats at you. And I think the other thing tonight too, it's, your two best guys, Fox and Sabonis. There's so much pressure on them, especially now with some of these injuries, that they have to be great. And being great means the entire game. And there are mistakes made tonight, and that's what cost them. Where their guys made big plays down the stretch, right? It's Beal coming up big in the fourth. It's Booker in the third. Even Grayson Allen. In the first half, I'm glad Grayson Allen's not killing the Kings. Boy, did he kill the Kings late. 19 points, knocked down 4 of 8 from 3.
Well, and that's what I feel like we've seen against the Suns team this season is like, Book get it together late and Grayson Allen and whoever else. But Deuce, you're talking about a team with so many different weapons, future Hall of Famers. And when one guy is going, they don't need another guy to just like be the next star. It's like they have so many weapons. They have even the ability to go with that small ball that small ball lineup. And you saw how it can still disrupt. And then you saw that the Kings also made adjustments against it as well. And we're like, we're not going to allow this to just dominate us. Like those adjustments being made by the Kings and Mike Brown, I was satisfied with some of those moments. And really quick too, because I know we keep talking about that turnover by Domas. I was really glad to see a bounce back game for him where I thought he was just doing a much better job of, dominating down low, but then also finding different ways to score. Like we said, being more in that pick and roll, being able to go downhill and there being different type of spacing on the offense men.
The really tough part with tonight too was the fact that they couldn't give Fox more rest. I felt like the offense tonight fell flat with him out of the game. It didn't, Davion's missing shots, sure, but it slowed down completely.
Yes.
And there was a sequence in the third quarter where Brown pulls De'Aaron Fox the 5:29 mark, kind of his usual rest in the first and third quarters. He put Fox in less than a minute later. It was 75-61 Kings at that point. When Fox goes out of the game, he comes back in at 75-66 after a quick little run by the Suns. And you felt it. And then it seems like it stabilized a little bit. But, yeah, he's playing 40 minutes every night now. And I guess that's what it's going to have to be. This is where you're at. You're in a situation where you got to win games. So
that's where you're at. That's where we're at, Deuce.
Appreciate everyone hanging out with us tonight. Can you guys do us a favor and hit the thumbs up, please? And subscribe. All it does is help our channel grow. Tonight's podcast presented by our friends over at Northwest Exteriors. If you need new windows, go to our friends over at Northwest Exteriors, Morgan.
Hell yeah, you should go over to Northwest Exteriors. Plus, they have a new deal starting on April 22nd. So make sure you go check them out because you can get up to $6,500 off. Buy 3, get 1 free. Lots of different deals going on with Northwest Exteriors. So if you just have a specific room that you need to get done right now with multiple windows, check out all their deals starting on April 22nd. summer's coming. Summer is coming. It's going to be hot in your house. And you're going to be like, oh my God, let me keep running the air and wasting all my money. No. You can save money. Check out Northwest Exteriors.
You know why? Because they are, Morgan.
Simply the best. Trust Northwest.
My wave of emotions tonight, it's been a roller coaster for me.
See?
I get happy talking about some things in the game, and then I revert back to like...
The turnover, every time we bring it up, just like I just did now, it crushes my soul just a little bit more.
And if you just looked at the box score, you go, oh, the Kings only had 7 turnovers in this game. They only had 7. And the Suns had 18?
No.
Or 19. And that I think that was one thing early that was a little deflating. Was the Kings came out really aggressive defensively in that first quarter, forced 2 turnovers immediately, and then they missed 2 shots. Sabonis had another steal after that. The Kings miss.
Yeah.
And then you had this. This was another play. Fox had a steal. Then Nurkic makes a desperate poke away, turned over. Then Fox got it back from Nurkic on the pass. That was great. But when you got to the 6:47 mark, Phoenix is up 11-6, and they've had 5 turnovers. It turned into 2 points. The Kings didn't capitalize enough early on some of those miscues by the Phoenix Suns, and they're just aggressive defense.
Yeah. I mean, I like that they cleaned it up later on, capitalizing on more of the Suns' mistakes. And I was like, okay, another thing that they started making adjustments on. But yeah, early on, we could pick it every single quarter, and there's probably going to be more good than bad until the third on book when he was getting going. But again, even that, like, he's going to just go off at times. Like, that's going to happen. It's how do you make adjustments when he starts going off? Okay, start slowing down. Oh, now Grayson Allen's making his shots. Yeah. Now Bradley Beal is also getting shit done. It's like, yikes.
A couple other good things I'm looking back at my notes right now. Second quarter, I love this play. Keon is defending Beal, who's strong. He absorbs the contact from Beal, steals the ball, and then threw it off Bradley Beal out of bounds. Keon playing like a dog, not scared of the moment. I love that. That was awesome. I love seeing that moment. There was one play where Nurkic on an outlet threw a terrible pass. Keegan read it perfectly and then took it to the basket with like this rolling hook shot that went in. It's like, okay, Keegan, show me a little something. That was really cool to see. I also thought that Fox had some incredible passes tonight. I mean, he had a full court on the money pass to Keon, who finished tough. That put the Kings up their biggest lead of the game, 70-54. Oof. So that was good. And then Booker started to get going. Yeah, man. I also thought fourth quarter, I would note this. It was a tight game, 96-93. Mm-hmm. Shot clock winding down. It didn't look like the Kings could really get anything, and Keon Ellis just stayed patient, didn't force a shot.
Yeah.
He got to a spot in the paint, launched, buried it. And I was like, dude, that's the growth I want to see from a young player. These moments mean so much for a guy who was in the G League most of the year last year.
Agreed.
So, who's your rock and soul player of the game?
You know what? I guess I could go with Keegs. There's so much about De'Aaron that I liked tonight. How many he finished with 4 steals?
Yeah.
I really liked his game. I liked the way that he kept attacking through. And I know, like, if you looked across his stat line, you're like, that's not even his best game. I don't know. I just thought he was a leader out there. And I thought the way that he was trying to set the tone with his leadership and intensity, thought Harrison Barnes also brought that out there. Just collectively as a team, they did a good job of holding each other accountable of what they wanted to accomplish out there. So I don't know the answer for who my rock and soul player is.
There's a lot of good candidates. I mean, we just raved about Keon Ellis and what he's provided.
Yeah. Deflections galore.
I think right now, I mean, we're headed to game 82. Holy shit. This is the final game of the season coming up here.
Jeez.
You're not going to win and get in the playoffs if you don't get help outside of Fox and Sabonis. Keon's got to give you something. Harrison's got to give you something. Keegan's got to give you something. And all three of those guys gave you something tonight. They had moments where they brought something. But it's just going to be a team effort. It's hard to pick one guy. I feel like I can't do that. I was going to say Sabonis, but to be honest, like, you have that turnover late. You can't win Rock and Soul Player of the Game when you've got that turnover. Before that, I love the energy and physicality you played with tonight. I thought after what he did yesterday, I was like, he needs to show up tonight. And he showed up from the jump, and I was encouraged by that.
You know what? So we're going full heel and Nurk with the game-winning free throw. He is our Rock and
If I were to give it to a Suns player, I think I'd give it to Bradley Beal.
Agreed. I thought he stepped up huge. And like I said, he played bigger than he even is. And he came up with some of the biggest moments defensively, offensively. Bradley Beal is our rock and soul player of the game.
From the Suns. Yeah, from the Suns.
From the Suns. Oh.
And maybe there's, you can give some Kings love too.
Do you want to give it to the starting unit for the Sacramento Kings? Like, do you want to just, because like,
I don't know.
Because this is a very serious thing. And
It is.
If you don't do
Just
it
go
right.
to Rock and Soul Diner 6 blocks away from Golden One Center. It's awesome food. I need some of it. Maybe tomorrow on a rainy day I go over there.
Also, go Sunday, too. Tonight, there's a big party there. So if you're still like out, I don't know what time it is now, but there's a huge party there. 10 o'clock, there was a DJ that started and everything. But Sunday, go during the game. If you're not going to the Sacramento Kings game, you can get 25% off your bill. You can get 25% off appetizers, off drinks. So make sure you check out Rock and Soul Diner.
And what would be your Shreve Jewelers moment of the game?
I'm trying to, you mentioned one that I really liked, which was De'Aaron finding Keegan.
The wraparound pass for three. Unbelievable play by De'Aaron
I
Fox.
love that because I loved his vision on it. I loved him making a big play. I think that's something that he's taken a huge leap in with his game this season. And let's keep it positive. I'm going to go with that was my rock and soul. That was my Shreve Jewelers moment of the game. Can I say something about Shreve Jewelers really quick? Just one positive thing. So I was there the other day picking out some jewelry, and this couple goes, Morgan. And I'm like, hey. And I was like, I recognize you guys. Seen them at a Kings game before. And I was like, well, what are you doing
Did
here?
you really, or was it that fake?
Yeah.
Like, I recognize you guys.
No. I definitely recognize them. And Kyle Marina, and they were picking up their wedding bands. And I was like, oh, had to throw this in there. I'm like, did you guys hear about it from the Deuce and Mo podcast? Kind of like giggled. And they're like, absolutely, yes. Like, this is why we are here right now. I was like, no way. So it was so cool that, and then of course I'm telling them about the coffee. I'm acting like I worked there at Shreve Jewelers. I'm like, oh, everyone's so great. You have to experience this. You have to get the coffee here. Did you guys see the rings over there though? You could pick out this, blah, blah. And I felt like I was like part of it with them. But my point is with all of that is I just love that we've been able all season long to push out so many local businesses that we believe in. And thank you for trusting us and obviously like whether experiencing with some of those businesses or whatever it is, just thank you.
Can I give you my Shreve Jewelers moment of the game?
Sure.
Because that's a good one from the game. I was thinking about this, seeing Chris Webber at the game tonight. Chris Webber in town, one of my favorites. I know one of your favorites. You got a chance to talk to him on TV tonight. Amazing, jealous. But I'm looking, I'm going, holy shit, man. Chris, on a Friday night, Chris Webber's at the game. Brad Miller's there on his birthday, per usual, always there. Vlade was there. Of course, Doug's on the coaching staff. And I'm like, this shit's cool, man. Like that, they have this moment in arena where they're going, showing Chris Webber. They go, Chris Webber, Vlade, Brad, happy birthday, Gary St. Jean. I'm like, dude, all these like old Kings figures are just here at the game tonight on a Friday night. And the fans dug it. I love seeing C-Web. One of my all-time favorite Kings players. What a talent he was. And so I just thought it was cool to see that. And it made me appreciate what Sacramento has. I'm like, dude, this is different. Like, I know it's small market Sacramento, but seeing all these guys who played here 20 plus years ago, still kind of around every once in a while, it just made me feel good.
No, it
made me feel good.
It's good. No, that is such a feel good. It was a great vibe seeing them all in the building tonight. Obviously you wish it could have ended a different way, but like, truly, and I never take it for granted when I'm up there talking to Chris Webber on a broadcast when I've met him before, but like having being in a different time of my career and doing something that like he has such a big part of why I am doing what I'm doing, because he is one of the people that helped shape my love for the game and made me want to always have basketball in my life forever. And I got to tell him that too, because he was talking about his book and how he was saying how Sacramento kind of shaped and inspired him.
Yeah.
And will always hold that special thing in his heart. And I, like, after the broadcast, I was like, you are my Sacramento. Like, you have done that for me.
Maybe you can come on the pod one of these days. It'd be cool.
Oh, wouldn't that be great?
Next up for the Sacramento Kings, believe it or not, we've arrived at game 82 of 82. Kings and Blazers. Last year, game 82, game 81, didn't really much matter. We were talking about, can they get to 50 wins? That'd be really cool. We were chilling. We were getting ready for the Kings playing a playoff series for the first time in 16 years. And oh man, how much changes in a year.
Oh, yeah.
Fast forward a year later, Kings are going to be in the play-in. Where will they be playing? What seed will they be? We don't know, and we won't know until after Sunday afternoon. So,
Buckle up.
as it stands right now, you got the Suns in 7. The Suns will be no worse than 7. They could finish at 6. They'll be no worse than 7. 8, the Lakers passed the Kings tonight with a win over the Memphis Grizzlies. So they're in 8th. Kings and Warriors 9-10 at the moment. The Kings, if they beat Portland on Sunday, a terrible Portland team, but as Morgan mentioned earlier, young guys playing loose. Who cares? We'll just go out there and play spoiler and have fun, troll these people. Let's go out the right way.
Yeah.
The Kings beat Portland, and the Lakers lose at home to New Orleans. The Kings get the 8th spot.
Yep.
In all likely, that would mean they would be flying to Phoenix to take on the Suns in the play-in. And if they win, they're in at 7th. They lose, they would play the winner of the 9-10 matchup, Lakers-Warriors in Sacramento. The winner advances with the 8th seed. The loser goes home. But if the Pelicans, look, final game of the year, they need the win. They want to stay. They want to stay in the top 6. They're going to be motivated, but Lakers may want to avoid the 9-10 matchup. It's going to be a tight game. It's going to be a big game. If the Kings win and the Lakers win, the Kings are going to be in 9th. So if that's the case and that holds true, we are going to be in a situation where the Kings are playing the Warriors in Sacramento.
Win or go home.
Win or go home.
Win or go home.
And then you got to win another one. You have to play the winner of Lakers Suns potentially.
Yeah.
I've thought about this so many times. Like the nightmare scenario is this.
Steph hits 50 in that game.
No, the nightmare scenario is just playing a 9-10 matchup against the Warriors and losing. It would hurt even worse at home because it just happened. It would just suck. You miss the playoffs, and your chance at going and advancing maybe would be to beat the Warriors, and you can't do it. They send you home again. But can we just play a little? Come to Deuce's Land for a second, Morgan.
Oh, I hate Deuce's Land.
How good would it feel if the Kings beat the Warriors? And then they get a matchup against the Lakers and beat the Lakers to get in. It would be like you're slaying a couple of dragons and then you're in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Dude, I want the playoffs so bad. It feels unlikely at this point. But here's what you can control. Coming up Sunday against the Blazers, just win the game. Win the game. And the Pelicans are going to have a good chance to beat the Lakers. They're playing good basketball right now. They just beat the Golden State Warriors tonight in San Francisco.
We'll just win the game.
Dude, are you guys mentally prepared for next week?
No. I'm not. Again, dark times the last week, seasonal depression, something was going on, not well. Today, a little lighter, head up. Throw adversity at me. I got it. Next week, We'll see where I'm at.
The game's going to be so stressful.
I don't like to even think about it.
In the chat, we have ASIM 6998.
Nice.
Who cares if they make the playoffs? They'll only be embarrassed again on national TV. You know,
That's
my
the
response to
thinking.
that is I'm going to say this to all the people who are like, who cares? Season's over. I'm done. Blah, blah, blah. If your mindset is, who cares if they make the playoffs? They'll just get embarrassed. Then you know what I really encourage you to do?
Say it.
Retire from sports and tap out.
Bye.
Tap out. You're not built for this. If you can't handle a 45-win season,
No.
you can't handle anything. You're not going to be able to handle much worse. I'm going to say this again for the people in the back.
Louder.
Watch 16 years where the Kings had 800 coaching changes, miss after miss after miss in the draft lottery, disappointment, suspensions, bad trades, hope, no hope, relocation drama. Maybe they're going to Anaheim, Virginia Beach, Seattle. That was a miserable 16 years that we had to go through.
Yep.
So, call me crazy. I can handle a little adversity in a 45-win year. And if the Kings get to the playoffs, I'm going to enjoy every single second of it because getting that experience matters.
Yep.
And getting to the first round would free up the Kings to be able to move some draft picks too. It would be significant. Those experiences matter. The Kings, the 98-99 Kings, when they got Chris Webber, that lockout year, they made the playoffs. They got knocked out in the first round in 5 games to Utah Jazz, took them to the brink. And you thought, well, next year, if they could take Malone and Stockton to the brink, they're going to get out of the first round. They're going to get better. No, they got their asses kicked in the first round the next year, and they were eliminated. And they had to come back, look around, and go, all right, we like this.
Yeah.
We like this. We don't like this. We got to tweak this. We got to trade this. You have to be honest with yourself. And you know what they did? They came back and they got out of the first round. And then they got their asses kicked out of the second round. And you know what they did? They had to make more tough choices. They traded key pieces to get better, to try to get in the championship contention. Success is not linear. All right? This isn't all smooth sailing all the time. So you just have to enjoy the ride. It gets bumpy. You may get a flat tire. Well, guess what? Put that goddamn spare tire on. We got places to be.
And if you don't put the spare tire on, tap out.
Tap out.
Be on the side of the road forever.
Maybe
Bye.
you're not built for this.
Right.
Well, guess what?
Right.
Deuce Mason, Morgan Reagan, and all the people who listen and watch us, we're built for this.
Hell yeah, we
We're
are.
built for this. And if you're not, tap out. I can't.
And it's not
throw
even
in the towel.
it's not even throwing shade at you. It's literally like you are not meant for this life or this stress on your life if you can't handle a 45-win season, especially when you see what other teams are going through. And if you don't follow the league and you only follow your team, branch out.
Yeah.
Don't stay in your bubble. Branch out, learn, experience what other people might be feeling right now, and they will wish that they were in your shoes.
Someone in the chat said, with 16 years, how about back to the Reggie Theus days? Yeah, if you've been a Kings fan since 1985, you haven't seen a lot of winning. You're built for this. You can handle this year. Okay? That's the reality.
Hell yeah.
Let's get to some super chats before we get on out of here. Morgan Reagan, Silly Still donating $20. Appreciate the love. Said, welp, on the Sunday, and the Lakers lost to get the 8th seed, win the play-in game, get the 7th seed, and win the first-round series. Let's go, Kings. I'm trying, guys. Appreciate the optimism. That's very optimistic.
Thank you for the donation.
Shout out to Sebastian, donating a couple of times. Wemby beating Jokic. Need a topic, guys. Yeah, dude. How about tonight? The Spurs, shorthanded. The Nuggets are trying to get that number 1 seed. The Spurs beat them by 1. Victor was amazing. Had a crazy stretch to get the Spurs back in the game, and they beat the Nuggets. So now, headed into the final game of the season, we don't know who the number 1 seed yet is in the West. Is it OKC, Minnesota, Denver? We will find out after Sunday. We still don't know 6 through 10 in the West. The East is all jumbled. How great is this in the NBA? It sucks for fans that are stressed out for sure, but this is what it's all about.
What time's the game? Should we drink champagne after? I feel like a Sunday mimosa.
Yes.
Yeah.
Game's at 12:30. Reminder, 12:30 game. So we'll be live probably like 3-ish.
I was gonna still but
Michael in the chat donates $2 saying, I just want to cry. And you know what I say? Yeah, cry. I feel
Let
you
it
tonight,
out.
man. This hurt.
let it out.
It did hurt tonight. But got to shake it off fast. Got another game coming up.
Beamless night, but hopefully we can have a beamin' day on Sunday.
Well, guys, enjoy the rest of tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
No NBA games tomorrow. No NBA games. Everybody played tonight, and everybody plays on Sunday. Kings, Blazers. We'll be live to talk about that game. And after that night chat, after that game, we'll be live on an afternoon/night chat, being able to talk about Kings play-in. The journey begins. Get on board. Let's go. We love you guys, but we got to go.
You all have a wonderful rest of your day. See ya.
Deuce and Mo, Deuce and Mo, Deuce and Mo. They tell you what they know. Deuce and Mo, Deuce and Mo, Deuce and Mo. The podcast that you know. Deuce and Mo.